Now, the other center that is coming out of that one is actually, it's not shown here, but it comes out of that, is the center called as of Swadhisthana, is the center by which you think, you organize for the future, you think, you organize for the future, you work out your action through it. Like we think all the time. What we do is nothing but think. I mean, planning is such a curse that we don't do anything about it. We just plan and keep it in the book. Or we have planned it. They think we have planned it, it's done already. It's not so. Now this thinking gives us a realm of future into which we enter in. When we start thinking, we do not know how we imbalance ourselves. In this area resides the principle of the primordial masters, as Gregor has told you. Now when you start thinking, this center, the one you see, the yellow colored center, transforms the fat from your stomach for the use of your brain. Now people are so much against fat these days that it would be really dangerous to talk for it. Now, from where are you to get the replacement of your brain cells? Tell me, if you are not going to consume any fat. As it is, your livers are out, so whatever fat you take any amount of fat, you will not have any weight. Try. Because that fat is the reserve for your brain, which thinks all the time. You have to, do you know that this brain is made of fat cells? Do you know this or not? Is nothing but fat cells. In Sanskrit, is called as med. And the whole thing is called as med, even the brain. Even your nerves are made of the fat cells. Now when you don't take it, any form of fat whatsoever, I mean, I'm told that lots of butter is lying here wasted. I don't say, when I say, I don't say you ate the mountain of it. No, no. What I'm saying, if you don't take at all any fat, then what you do is to make your body starve for the fat that is needed for one of the purposes is the brain and for your nerves. If you don't take fat in the body, you will be a nervous person. What is the supplement for your nerves? What are you going to supply it? That's why you find, you see, mostly to make it out, and Westerner and Indian is very easy. You make them stand before any calamity, all right? The Indian would be silently watching. The another would be going into completely say, everything will be coming out. Or the eyes will be twisting, the nose will be going up and down, the ears will be going like that. They'll be all nervous. The reason is your nerves do not have any sustenance in it. That's lost because you just don't take any fat. Take little bit. I'm not saying the mountains. You see, if I say something, you may jump into the mountain of fat. That's not the point. But just to avoid completely the fat is a wrong idea, creates an imbalance. Now this poor center has to do double job. Firstly, it has to supply the fat to the brain. Secondly, it has to look after your liver on the right hand side. When it moves to the left hand side, your pancreas, your spleen, your kidneys and uterus. Can you imagine? All these things this poor thing has to do. Now if you are thinking all the time, then it is trying to find out all the fat globules it can get from everywhere to supply in the brain. All right. And if it does not get that, then it is a dangerous thing. But even if it gets it, then it is creating a problem for the other organs which it has to look after. That's how people get diabetes. You don't get diabetes because you eat sugar. It's a wrong idea altogether. I don't know from why the doctors have started this kind of a thing. For example, in India, people take sugars, at least half a kilo of sugar per day in the villages, at least minimum. They eat more sugar than they eat rice. Take it from me. But nobody has diabetes. Why? Because they don't think. Whatever sugar they take is used for their liver. Now, if you do not give your liver any sugar, now ask anyone. how the liver acts. Liver is the one that takes out all your poison. Now this poison is to be taken out of the liver by water. Now if you take the water and drink on top of that, what happens? That the hydrogen becomes heavier. I mean, there's H3 added to it, and the whole system of H2O, which has to be neutral, becomes like this, and you can't receive any heat into it. So the whole heat, which is the poison, accumulates in the liver. You get all kinds of liver problems, all kinds of liver problems. Practically, most of the Western people have liver problems, but they don't know it till they discover it. Till they are absolutely on the verge of something very fatal, they do not discover about liver. Now this hydrogen, which pulls it down, you see, becomes like an arrow, doesn't receive anything from the liver, the heat. And such a person never gets any temperature. Even cancer acts the same way. In cancer also the H goes down very much, though it's a left-sided problem, which I'll tell you. But same thing happens, that the heat of the body cannot be taken out by water. So the water becomes a heavy water, you can say. But after realization, the hydrogen goes up like that, and you receive all the heat. And people who have bad liver feel terrible heat on the right-hand side. Now you have to take carbohydrates to neutralize that heat. You have to take carbohydrates. Now if you don't like sugar, eat rice. I mean, if there's some sort of a thing on your head. This also is an enterprise. I must tell you, these food stores are also another enterprise, which is very, very subtle. Very subtle enterprise. You see, as you had other enterprises of gurus, then you had of holidays, you see, some idea must have come. Then these what you were there, singers, musicians were there, 4 of them, Beatles. You know, the one who created them, Beatles, his uncle has told me the story how he did it. It was all maneuvering to begin with. And that maneuvering made people mad, and that madness is still on. You see, people go on into that. It's all auto-suggestion and all those things, they work it out. They are psychologists, you see, and they know how to maneuver people and how to dominate them. They know, and they manage it. They work it out on your weaknesses, like you do not know about food. Now, some of the health food I ate, it was not for human beings, it was for buffaloes, I felt. Really. Some of the foods were so hard and so harsh. I got such a pain in my stomach. I said, no, this is not for human beings. This is for buffaloes. You are not buffaloes. You are human beings. You have to eat food which is digestible to your stomach. Of course, that doesn't mean you should use this white bread. Of course, that is not the thing which makes your liver completely sort of, or you can say the intestine sluggish. But you should not eat all the fodder of such a hard things, like everything you cut because you want to preserve the vitamins. You will cut everything and eat everything like that. Japanese are the worst on this. Japanese are the worst. I mean, there's nothing that they don't eat. They eat everything that you could think of. I mean, you can't eat their food the way they eat. First thing they served me at a very special banquet, where the princess was there and all that, was a shell with all these moss around it. See, for us Indians, as it is, a little fussy about these things. And my daughters were there. I said, what is in there? It's a, say, live thing. I said, live? We were all frightened. What is live? They said, the oyster or something is live inside. And they poked it and it started going like that, you see. I said, oh God, how do you eat it? And the Japanese just twisted it down and ate it off, you see. And they eat everything raw. There was a boy who was eating peanuts. We asked him, what are you eating? He said, I'm eating these prawns. He was just feeling them out and eating them nicely. Can you imagine? This is the way they eat their food, which is not meant for the human body. You have to cook, but your women are so busy with liberation, they don't cook. They don't cook. You should learn to cook to handle your husbands. You see, if you know how to cook, it's very simple. In our Sahaja Yoga center, we teach them how to cook, because if you know cook, you are the master. You see, men are really so simple. I mean, really so I cook very well. I'm an excellent cook, I should say. But a gentleman came to see me. He was a German, and he told me that there was one chairman of a company that he told me, if you want to eat the best chicken Ask Mrs. Srivastav to cook for. That's my another name. And she's an excellent cook. I was surprised I had this reputation all over that I cook so well with chicken. And he came all the way, you see, and he brought the chicken with him. And he came all the way to cook with me and to eat it. And he was a very big man also himself. I was amazed to see that just to learn how to cook the chicken. He said, my wife doesn't know how to cook. Just imagine how helpless he was. All men are helpless as far as food is concerned. If you give them good food, you see, they may say, oh, we can eat whatever we like. But it's not so. If you know their tastes and things, and if you know how to handle them, it's very easy to handle them. Like somebody told me, Indian men are very great cowards. I said, why? Because they don't know how to cook, that's why they don't divorce. Imagine to say such a thing. It's not that. They are very wise. What's this of changing every day a wife, you see? One wife, she knows all about your habits, she knows everything, she knows how to cook for you. It's a good idea. We carry on very well as companions. Every time if you change, God knows she may come as a shrew, she may come as anything. You may lose your head with somebody, another may break your hand, another may break your legs. It's better to know one and handle her for this lifetime. So next time at least you don't face that time. It's very simple and wise way of living together to understand that in one lifetime only, if you live with one person, you develop that love, that attention, that understanding, because human beings basically are very good. If you live with somebody for 2 days, you will just see the superficial things of that person. That may not be good. So to get to the depth of a person, it's necessary you live with that person with a loving care, you see that person, and you will discover how beautiful that person is. He is so beautiful sometimes that you're surprised at him. The other day, I had to go for something to a hospital. I mean, I never go to a hospital, but something happened and doctors were after my life, you must do this, you must do that. And my husband couldn't see that. He was so upset, he had never seen me like that. So he went back to his office, he put his head like this, and he was sitting there, didn't do any work and anything. When he came back, I was angry with him. I said, what do you mean by not being here? I was here and there were other people. But actually I knew what he was doing. So I went and told him, I know you ran away, you coward, you couldn't stand there. He said, it's true, I couldn't see it. And then his secretary told me, oh boy, he was horrid. He wouldn't talk to me, he wouldn't allow me to do anything. That's what happened. So to understand a man, it's such a great thing to love. I don't know if you realize that. It's such a great thing to love, to give. It's much greater than to have. Giving, I don't know if you have tried or not. All my life I've done nothing but giving. And I think I feel so happy about it. The real source of happiness lies in giving only, not in taking with any. It's such a great thing to give. Give, give, give. And you'll be amazed you have no dearth of anything. That is what one has to understand. But to think about what things I should preserve, what things I should give, what is there to think? If somebody likes to have it, doesn't matter. It works out. Now, the second center is also of the Lakshmi center, because you asked me how to get the Lakshmi. Now, this is the center of Lakshmi, because Lakshmi is the deity of the center, and the deity actually who is the male side of it is the one who is the kinetic side. The power is the potential side and the kinetic side is the male side. So Lakshmi is the power of Narayana. Narayana is the deity whom you call as Vishnu. That's why Vishnu only incarnates. Because he comes for our seeking, he incarnates. He incarnates to give us our higher awareness. Always the Vishnu incarnates, or the aspects of Vishnu incarnate. And that's how we have been evolving one after another. For example, when Noah's Ark was built, it was Vishnu who came in the form of a dolphin fish and saved that Noah's Ark. And that's how we were saved. Then a tortoise form it came in, to make the fishes come to the shore and start crawling on the Mother Earth. Like that, a leader is always born, and that leader is the aspect of God, is the incarnation. Now many will say we don't believe in it. So many are like that. We don't believe in this, don't believe in that, don't believe in that. We believe in this and believe in this. Now how can you say that? First of all, know that you say this because you are conditioned for something. You have a fixation. When you say I believe in it, or you say I don't believe in it, you have not reached your absolute awareness, have you? How can you judge? You cannot judge. So you have to become that. Once you become that, you just put your hands and ask a question. Was Vishnu an incarnation? Was it the aspect of incarnation that gives us our realization? You will start getting more breeze, and then you will know that it is so. But this fact about Vishnu, that he exists, you will only know after your realization. When you raise the Kundalini, and if the Kundalini stops at this point of Nabhi, then you have to take his name. If you don't take his name, it won't rise. That's why the mantra is a very big science, to know first of all how the Kundalini is moving. You can say the mantra is like, to give it very gross example, is like a toll that you pay at every point. So when you go up to a gate, now you have to pass through that. Then you pay a toll. But somebody gives you a mantra before realization, it has no meaning. Because you have not started moving as yet. If your car has not started moving as yet, how can you pay the toll? Whom are you paying the toll? You are just paying the toll to the guru, who is nonsensical. You have to go to that point where your Kundalini has stopped, which you can see yourself and feel it. And then at that point, you have to raise the Kundalini higher by saying that particular mantra, then at higher level, then at higher level. How the mantra is to be said, there's a science. This all can become yours in no time at all. And within 1 month's time, you all will be experts of Sahajayoga. Take it from me. When I went to Australia, I was hardly there for a month, I think. And within 15 days, see, these people from television and all that, they came to see me. And they said, are your disciples all scholars? I said, not at all. Who told you that I am scholar? Oh, they know so much. I said, because they have become knowledge now. You start learning from others when you start giving Kundalini, awakening and all that. You start learning what's happening, where is it going, how it is working out, how to maneuver. Unless and until you start driving the car, how will you become the master of the car? In the same way, you have to know everything, working it out, not thinking about it. Then people start analyzing, how can this be, how can that be. It's not analysis, it's actual working. Actually, you work it out, the thing flows from your hand and you are amazed, oh God, the Kundalini is rising. Yes, you can see it, it's come up. You can give realization, those who got realization yesterday, today you can give realization. What do you say to that? You are that fantastic. You are that fantastic. But know that you should not be shifty people. They say that Americans are very, very shifty people. And be careful on this character. See, everybody has a sign. Like that, you have a sign that you are shifty, while English are hard nuts. So, be careful. Do not be shifty. Settle down on your own spirit. Work it out. Learn about it and fix it up. I'm happy to see Michael has come all the way from Los Angeles. I was sorry I couldn't bring you the other day. I was feeling very sorry, and to see you here, I was so heartened and so happy that you have come here to work it out. You see, that's how it should be. All right. So then we go, I mean, there's so much to be said about every center. And you know that I have given at least 500 lectures in London alone, and there are tapes of my lectures available. I mean, we don't make any profits as usual, but you must not also exploit us by taking the free tapes. You should pay for the tape itself, all right, the price of the tapes, and you can get the tapes from these people. We'll send you, you can copy it and give it to others the way you want to spread it, you can do it. There's no restriction on anything, but one thing is definite, that you should not sell it at a profit. As I do not sell it for profit, you also don't sell it for profit. There is no exploitation of the disciple and no exploitation of the poor guru who is standing before you. Now, so we go to the another center which is very important within us, is the center. I don't think I'll be able to finish it today, the whole thing, but at this point I'll stop, and tomorrow I'll talk about these two other centers and the spirit, all right? Tonight. So, this center is the center of heart. Here the Jagadamba, the mother of the universe, resides. The one who is alone, she is alone. She doesn't have any male deity with her. She's alone. She's the mother. And she looks after the people who are struggling in this ocean of illusion. She's the one who is the protector. She incarnates. It's said that she has incarnated 1,000 times, but she has incarnated many a time. Now this Jagadamba, is the one who resides there at that point. And when you are a child, say about 12 years of age, she creates the antibodies in the sternum bone, and these antibodies spread into the whole body and protect you from the outer problems. Now, those people who have the problem of this, especially in ladies, comes from insecurities in life. If you are insecure, then you get the palpitation, and such women at the extreme can develop breast cancer. If you can re-establish this, breast cancer can be cured in no time. Now, the other center which are important in this is of the father and the mother on both the sides. Now, the father is on the right hand side, is governed by Shri Rama. Shri Rama and Sita, who came on this earth, they are not standing in the center, so you can see it very clearly that they are not worried about the evolution part of it, but they came on this earth to establish the right conduct of a person, especially in the political and economic field of life. How to be an ideal, a philosopher, or you can say a benevolent king. He tried to establish the symbol of that, Sri Rama, and those people who suffer from father's problem. Supposing the father has died very early, they have this problem. And the symptoms of that is you get asthmas, you develop asthmas. If you have any problem of the father, if your father has died early, or your father is torturing you, or you have no respect for your father, if you are a bad father, I mean the fatherhood itself, when it is challenged, you get these problems and asthma develops. Asthma, what you call that, a breathing trouble develops. It could be with a combination of that, right side heart and also Vishuddhi, but mostly it is the right side heart. It could combine with the Vishuddhi. Now, the left hand side is the mother's thing, is the Parvati, is the wife of Sadashiva, which resides there in her form as a mother, Annapurna, or she's the one who is the giver of food. She gives you food. When she is in you, you find that if you cook for 2 people, it will last for as many as who want to eat there. It's like that. This is the deity that comes when it is awakened, it works out. Now, when this Swadhisthana chakra is governed by Brahmadeva and Saraswati. Those who are students, for them it is essential to get this because they are the gods and goddesses of your arts like music, dancing and all those things. Also, they give you the power of truth in the sense that if you have a good Swadhisthana, then if you say something, it comes out true. Your Vani means your tongue, your Vani would be voice, your tongues that you speak becomes the truth, is the power of this one. With the Lakshmi Tattva, as I told you, you get your affluence. Wherever you go, you bring affluence. You go to any house, people get affluence. You touch anything, people become better off. All the problems go out. And if you have problems on this, whatever you may try, you will never get rich. It will be always be a problem and you will have sort of losses and things like that. Now the left side Vishuddhi is the Vishuddhi Nabhi, which you catch very often here because of drugs. Now I must warn you that left side Nabhi gives you also a problem with money, always with money. Because if you have got left side problem, the Lakshmi just disappears. She just disappears. If you go more onto the left hand side, it is even worse. So alcoholism and all these things take you to a state where you start losing money and you can become very much poor with that. So the poverty comes in with that kind of thing. The right side Nabhi is the one that gives you liver problems and gives you a very dominating nature maybe, or a temperament by which you get very much angry. Left side Nabhi has another very serious problem, which is a very serious one, where if your spleen gets affected, for example, people who are very jerky type, they have having their food, then they are running to the work. This can happen to the people who are right-sided also, because they are very speedy people, they are working and then they want to eat the food at the same time, think about something, they will attend to many things at the same time. And this spleen has to look after all the emergencies and has to supply the blood cells. Because of this kind of a frantic temperament of the person, what happens, the spleen becomes frantic, and then the serious disease like blood cancer comes in. Moreover, this is nothing, because there's an antichrist who has come in this country, settled down here. He's a regular 666 who gives you also blood cancer. So it's a very serious thing, and all these things only takes place when you are not aware of it, you do not know. It can be cured completely with Sahaja Yoga, no doubt. It can be cured by your Kundalini awakening. That's the only way you can cure Sahaja Yoga. There's no other way out. But you have to first of all know how to manage your Kundalini, how to raise it. But the first thing you have to do is to give up some of your fixations you have, because it's a new venue you are entering into, and like any scientist, you should keep yourself open, absolutely open, and see for yourself and know for yourself that you have to understand everything in such a way that it should be logical. It should be logical and through your vibratory awareness, not by your thinking. First you understand it, and logically you will see it is true. So it is you who judge yourself, it is you who understand everything, it is you who grow, and it is you, the one who grows, sees also things. So I leave it to you, all these things to happen to you in your own wisdom and in your own freedom. All these things should be done. But just now I won't say don't do this and don't do that. You will just give up just like that. Because once you find your spirit, you are never bored. You have no time. You are enjoying yourself so much. You have no time for anything, even for smoking you forget. That's how I am a very tricky person. I said no use telling them don't do, otherwise they'll never come to my programs. Let them come and then I'll manage. Then you start really saving money on these nonsensical things, nonsensical habits that you have got, you want to get rid of them, it just works out. So for the time being, I think today is all right, but in the evening time, I'll tell you all the rest of it. And we have got luckily here 2 persons who have agreed to stay. She was in London and Michael was with me, who are deciding to stay in Santa Cruz. It is she who brought me here. It is she who gave all this idea. And it is now her responsibility to see that you are put onto the right path, and that without challenging your ego, she should do it, because it can be dangerous also. So, because she is one of you, so you may not like it, her telling you something, so don't mind. You will become like her also. Don't feel that there's something aggressive about her. That is very important, because with me it's all right, because first of all I'm a mother and also I'm something different. But for her you will think she's just like you. So doesn't matter. You will become like her, and you can also give realization to many. Thank you very much.